Why do we complain? And that is because it's the easiest solution to do. Hey guys, and welcome back to this new episode of Complexity of Contrast. I'm Anastasia, your podcast host, and today we're going to talk about complaining. I have been complaining a lot, and the funny thing is, what I started noticing when I was complaining, that most of these things were actually all in my control. I was in control to change them if I wanted to, but still I was complaining. I actually need to give some credit to my brother because he pointed it out to me that I started complaining about things that were actually in my control, that I chose for a reason. So I was writing my application essay and I just started complaining to him. Why does it have to be so extremely difficult? Why can't it just be simple? And then my brother looked at me and he was like, but you chose this viewpoint, like you chose to do it the hard way. That was your own personal choice. You could have just went with the easier option, with the one that has the most arguments, that would have been the most logical. Even though multiple persons have probably picked that point of view, you could have just done that. And I looked at him and I kind of got frustrated. I was like, what do you mean? Like, that's not true. This is just what I want to do. It felt to me like there was no other option, that if I wanted to do this, I had to do it this way. But still I was complaining. And that is when he said to me, but if you feel like there's no other way, that you have to do it this way, then just stop complaining, because you are doing this to yourself. From that moment on, I started to think. There were so many different situations where I indeed was complaining about something that I had chosen. And then I started looking into it more and more. I know that complaining is something superhuman. I'm not gonna tell you that you should stop complaining, whatever. It is something that we cannot resist to do. It is just in our nature, and it's okay because it helps us to release our emotions and share it with others, have compassion for ourselves and for others, etc. Nevertheless, we still can look critical at the situation. Are those complaining thoughts actually helping me, actually bringing me towards the goal I want to go to? So why do we keep on complaining about the things that are actually in our control, the things we actually chose? Why are those the things that I really wanted to do, but I still complain about them? And that is when I started thinking. The things we truly want deep down are often beyond our comfort zone. And that means that they often require effort, or have some sort of cost, or even a risk. When the perceived effort or risk or cost of doing what you truly want to do is being outweighed by the current benefit, then you often start to complain. You're not there yet where you want to be. You feel like it takes so much more than you wished. But that doesn't take away that it isn't something that you truly wanted from the start. It is just that now, in the process of doing it, it is actually really hard. And so, that is why we complain. Because complaining is easier than taking the action towards the goal we want to reach. Let me say that again. Complaining becomes an easier action to take than the action towards your main goal. So there's nothing wrong with complaining. It just gives you an indicator of, hey, I need to stop myself for a moment. Is doing this worth it to me? Is the main reason why I started doing this still as important to me? Or is it better to choose a different way? So what I do, since my brother pointed it out to me, is when I start to notice that I'm complaining about something, I ask myself, is this in my control? If no, then I'm like, okay, I can complain about it. Then I release it and then just move on with my life. I mean, we cannot stay in this energy of just keeping complaining because then we end up in this negative vicious circle that we do not want to end up in. But if the answer is yes, yes, you are in control, then there's three options. Or you can stay where you are, keep complaining, and keep being in a state of inactivism, because that's the thing with complaining. You are not taking any actions. The action you take is saying words out loud or in your head about how bad your situation is, but you're not actually moving towards or away from something. So the two options that I would suggest is one, ask yourself, how important is it to you? How much do you want to do that one thing? An example of this is me making a short film for one of my projects that I started complaining about. I was like, why would I ever make a short film? This is so dumb. I could have just made a painting. That would have been much easier. So in that case, I asked myself, how important was it to me to make that short movie? Would I have been as fulfilled, as okay with making a painting instead? Because if so, then change the course, you know? Why would you still make the short film if you would have been okay with a painting instead? But to me, I knew that deep down there was something inside of me that had always wanted to make a short film. That truly felt attracted to that idea. And yes, that is going to cost me something. Maybe that's time, maybe that's risking to be confronted with my fears. There are so many things that I have to face. But is that worth it to me? And at that time, I was like, you know what? Yes, it is. So then you keep on going. You embrace that discomfort because, yes, it is not going to be comfortable to be confronted with that. Sometimes things are more difficult, not as easy as you wanted to, but that's also life, you know? I'm not going to make it more beautiful for you than it is. So I believe that is the main thing that I wanted to share in this episode. That it is okay to complain about things, but also see it as a way to reframe the negative position you have about a situation to a question. How important is this one thing to me? Can I change it? Is that truly necessary? Or do I just need to keep on going and keep on confronting the obstacles that I will face? Because in every situation, there will be a different answer. The answer will not always be to keep on going, to keep on fighting for something you first envisioned. Sometimes it is okay to change, especially if you feel like that will benefit you more, even though temporarily it might cost you a little bit more. Because it feels like you're giving up, because you feel like a failure. But afterwards, maybe that pivot that you decided to take will bring you way further than sticking to that one vision ever could have. But that's up to you. Nobody else can make that decision for you, but it's just a way of reflecting about your life, your decisions. The next time you complain, I want you to ask yourself, what is this complainant actually telling me? Can I do something useful with the complaint? Because I believe you can. I believe it's such a good way to figure out more about what we truly want and what is important to us. So, yeah, guys, thank you a lot for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Definitely leave a review, comment, please share your thoughts. I love to hear those always. So, yeah, guys, I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye.